Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Hi, I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. This is the Literacy for All radio show. We're on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. We have a few guests that we're going to be introducing to you today. But first of all, just wanted to talk about a few of the things that are happening in San Diego in the next few months. This is we still look at San Diego as being, at least in our hearts and minds, of the literacy capital, at least of California. And I shouldn't say that because there's so many people in California doing literacy work. Part of what we're very proud of is WS Radio, and just so glad to have help from our host, Wade Taylor. Wade, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Loving life here in San Diego, and yes, we're pushing to do great things here, but mad respect for those doing hard work all across the state. And, I love how you are out there promoting in every way possible. I saw you on the news recently, right? You're out in the community.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about the event that you were attending, that you got on the news. So there's the promotion that's needed, right?
Right.
And what you were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this was actually the Escondido Public Library Scrabble-thon, and it's the only one we know of in San Diego County. So here are folks in that community who come together every year to play Scrabble to raise funds for the Escondido Public Library's literacy program. I've been the MC for 14 years, and this was the first year, Wade, that the news showed up. It was KUSI showed up, and they actually it was Dave Roberts, and he held camp. Pretty much, he was there for 2 hours.
Oh wow!
I watched him do the news forecast from this little community room in Escondido.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, thank you. That's I haven't seen the footage. It was live.
I think you look just fine.
Okay.
right. And you had a tux on, or at least bow tie. You're looking dapper.
There's 365 days in the year, as we know, and I probably wear a bow tie 2 days a year. If I don't show up with a bow tie for this event, it's like, okay, you're an imposter.
Yes, very good. You represented well. Props to KOSI for supporting the community. But again, it's just a great example about how there is support all through our community, but it may be in little pockets that we're just not aware of.
Absolutely. So it could be that. It could be Read San Diego's recognition dinner. It could be something that's taking place like on Read Across America Day, March 2nd. I was at the American Academy of Pediatrics Reach Out and Read programs Read and Romp event. And there was a whole lot that was actually taking place on March 2nd, which was a Saturday, and March 1st, which was a Friday, where schools and children were celebrating Dr. Seuss's birthday. So it wasn't just, the Scrabble-thon. It was Read and Romp, Read Across America Day. And then we have coming up with my organization, the San Diego Council on Literacy, there's Eat, Drink, Read, which is our culinary event for literacy. San Diego's best chefs creating dishes inspired by their favorite books. Wade, we got to get you there because it's like 20, 25 restaurants, and they're doing creative stuff with food, and it's delicious.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. Again, the more enjoyable things you can combine, all the better. And are there any of the sponsors or organizations supporting that we can give recognition to?
Oh, thank you for mentioning it, because they love it and they like being a part of it. And I've had sponsors say, "Look, yeah, we like the acknowledgement, but we like what you're doing and we like this event." So
it's a win-win.
Right, absolutely. So the San Diego Union Tribune, just coming out the gate, big supporter of this event.
Drew in the group?
Yeah, Drew in the group. And
Neville.
And Neville from Mission Federal Credit Union, and Angie Lasagna from Mission Federal Credit Union, our pals there. The folks from Kaiser Permanente, they're also big sponsors. it's a good list of organizations out there that are helping us out. Shepherd Mullen law firm, and then our friends, good old friends, Bob Alden and Helga Moore, and I don't want to miss anyone.
Right. And the beautiful thing is, if people go to the website, I'm sure they'll see a list, and everybody gets their due attention. So, what website should people check out to learn more about everything you're doing?
They can go to literacysandiego.org. We're overhauling the website, which happens quite often. But it'll be updated soon with Eat, Drink, Read information, as well as updates about our sponsors and the dishes being served, and just the books that are the inspiration for the dishes that are being served by the chefs. So you have books from you have some of your predictables like green eggs and ham, cloudy with a chance of meatballs, grapes of wrath, where foods are mentioned. So that's how we're doing this event. It's our 10th year. It's our 10th year of this event. So it's just one of the things that's happening. Comic-Con is coming up in July. Pro Literacy National Conference is in San Diego in September. August 24th is the Festival of Books, which is put on by the San Diego Union Tribune. And so a whole lot happening in San Diego this year. One of the things that I just referenced, Wade, our one of our guests is here, Val Hardy. She's the Literacy Program Administrator for Read San Diego, and that's the literacy program for the San Diego Public Library. They just had the recognition dinner, which is always a blast. Val, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jose.
So glad that you're here. But I talk about the show all the time, and it's like, man, I got to get Val Hardy on this show. So how's your morning starting out?
Oh, it's off to a great start.
Very good.
Any day where I'm breathing and waking up to do good, it's a good day.
Val, you've been, and I thought about this when I looked at it. We call you the Literacy Program Administrator for the San Diego Public Library.
Yes.
But that also makes you the Literacy Program Administrator for the city of San Diego. Technically correct?
Technically.
Okay, real good. So I think people need to know that there's one Literacy Program Administrator in the city, and it's Val Hardy. And you've been doing this work 32 years now?
Yes, since 1988.
1988, real good. And we go way back, as I tell people, if I have a partner, because people have come and gone, in our tenure, and we watch them. But Val, you and I are still here doing this work.
That's right. Chris McFadden was the founding director at Read San Diego. He was hired in February of 1988, and I was the first person that he hired in March of 1988. And for me, it's been this amazing personal and professional journey to see the program grow from a point where we were 3 people sitting around a table with a program that didn't have a name, to a point where we have grown to become a leader locally, statewide, and nationally. And largely it's due to the passion and commitment of staff and expertise of staff, the amazing support that we have from library administration, and the amazing volunteers who have stepped up over the years. We could not reach the people that we do without the volunteers in the churches.
It's so important to have that advocacy on the city level. Ultimately the mayor is the boss, and then just having folks who are at the library, and because sometimes programs come and go depending upon what's sometimes it's the flavor of the month, and that's not the case with Read San Diego.
Right, and sometimes administrators need to make hard decisions. Hard funding decisions during difficult funding years. Yeah,
we've seen that. And I've watched you guys, your staff, the program, go through some transitions, just physical location wise, going all the way back to, I want to say, the Cox Cable
storefront,
right? Which I like that one, actually. That's a good home for you.
It was.
But y'all have gone through some changes to where you are today. Can you go through those location changes? Do you remember them all? Because I know you lived it.
Yes. Our first site was the second floor of the old downtown public library at the corner of 8th and E.
That's when we had a little table or something.
That's when we had a little table on the second floor in the corner. And we were there through June of 1988. We opened our doors to the Cox communications storefront on Euclid Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there for years until we moved to the College Grove Shopping Center, where we had another storefront while the Malcolm X Library was being built.
Right.
And we moved into the Malcolm X Library in 1995. And because amazing people rallied to build the downtown public library, the vision was always to have literacy at the center there in the Central Library. When the Central Library opened, we moved to the 8th floor of the Central Library.
And if you're anywhere in San Diego, go to the Central Library, check it out, take the elevator to the 8th floor, see the Read San Diego office. I mean, I go back to 1985, and things were good, but we had dreams, we had visions. Maybe we didn't have quite the vision that is there now. I mean, I look at your office, the beautiful view you have, and the space and the computer lab and all that, and it's like, man, we're in the future. We've hit some really good marks here. We're almost at break time, believe it or not, Val. So we're going to come back after the break and talk about the work that you've been doing, and then we have another special guest, and we'll chat with her too. But it's just so fun to be having this conversation and just going back in time to share what we've lived together and come to have as a reality, because literacy services are in the library. They play a starring role in the library, and we live that. So we'll be back. I'm Jose Cruz. This is the Literacy for All radio show. You're on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple, and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com, on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Homeless veterans and their families are suffering and need our support, but many won't ask or don't know that help is within reach. Veterans Community Services is here to help. Amazingly, about 35% of the homeless in our neighborhoods are veterans with families. Low-income veterans or their friends are encouraged to contact Veterans Community Services and reach out for help with housing and other services. Call now, 800-974-9909.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The WorldLink program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. This is your Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. Our guest at this time is Val Hardy. She's the Literacy Program Administrator for the San Diego Public Library. Val, you've been doing this a long time. Why? Because I know you have other interests. Why all these years in literacy? What keeps you going every day?
I feel like it's a privilege to work at a job that I believe in, that I think is socially relevant, useful, and needed. And I get to see miracles happen in the workplace on a daily basis. The adult learners who are there aren't there because they're forced at gunpoint. They're there because they want better lives for themselves and for their families. And in turn, it impacts the community. Yeah. It's really a privilege to be a part of something that is not only changing lives, but really changing the dynamic of how people relate to coworkers and family members and folks in the community. And there are repercussions for generations to come that you and I will never see, and it's really powerful to be a part of that.
We don't realize. I mean, if you're in the field, you'll see how literacy touches every. I always say we can connect literacy to everything, but usually when I say that, I'm thinking about other causes. But there's also everything that happens in a person's life. Confidence and just feeling, being able to, get around and do things. Our second guest today is Amelia Sandoval. She's here, and I'm going to ask you a question, Amelia, in just a second. But we're glad to have you. Amelia is do you still consider yourself a literacy student?
Yes, I sure do.
Okay, very good. And so right now you're doing work with Read San Diego, and I know you've been in other programs. But I have to ask you a question because I know that this is Val's first time at this studio, and then this is your first time here, and you found your way here. Would that have been a problem for you 8-9 years ago?
Definitely.
Okay, very good.
I wouldn't have came alone.
Right, okay, so you've had the confidence that you were going to do this by yourself, and then you used what to get here today?
I used my iPhone.
Okay. All right.
Maps.
Okay. Very good.
Which I never would have been able to do before.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is what we're talking about: things we take for granted, and being able to navigate. How many radio shows have you done in your lifetime?
This is the first one.
Okay. Right. And so we're talking about opportunities that a lot of us don't get to experience because we don't read or whatever happens. Tell us a bit about your story, Amelia. And I know you've been through a lot in your time, and you're one of our. There's so many shining stars out there, so I have to be careful. Mm-hmm. But I love your story.
Well, I grew up in City Heights, and I grew up with one parent. My father, I never knew him, and it was difficult. And nobody cared that I didn't pay attention in school. I barely went to school. I only got up to the 5th grade. And the struggle began from there. And I went to prison. I got out, and I wanted to learn. But I noticed it was really difficult because I would sit in the classroom, and it was independent study. And I would just sit there and draw and try to look at other people and see what they were doing, trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. But it never came to me.
It's got to be a tough thing because I'm hearing you say that you left school about age 10 or 11.
Yes.
Okay. And so what happened after that? So when you wake up in the morning, other kids are going to school. What was happening in your mind?
I was in a place called a Palencia Center and group homes, foster homes on the streets because I wouldn't want to stay there, so I'd run away. And a lot of times, when I did go to school at Benito Juarez, they had us in a classroom, and I'd be able to take naps, They had a Nintendo there and a little pinball machine, like a tiny one. And I just behaved so I could play those items and take my naps.
So you had the experience with the technology. Was this the Pong game or something? One of the first. I'm trying to remember the first. I remember that.
No, they actually had Super Mario Brothers.
Okay.
And I got really good at it. I can complete it like in 40 minutes.
Okay.
Wow.
Can we say that's your introduction to technology?
Yes.
Okay, really good. So there's an upside. Kind of we worry sometimes about too much in the way of video games and all that. But we're in a world now where let me ask you both: do you have a smartphone, Val?
Of course I do.
Amelia?
Yes.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, who doesn't, right? So again, for some people, and especially our seniors, because they're still part of a segment of our population that still has to function in society. And so when we brought in technology, we added another layer of difficulty, another place where people could fall behind, or people might not have a resource and such. So, what happened next, Amelia? I know that you spent a lot of time at home, and maybe, like say, your cat was your best friend. Is that true? Is that right? Do I recollect that correctly?
I had a lot of cats, even like stray cats. I'd go out there and be like, come on, and bring them over.
Join my family.
Yeah.
Real good, real good. Val, in terms of Amelia's story, what you're hearing sounds familiar? Everybody's different.
Yeah, and no two students are alike, but what is familiar is that there are many students that grow up without books in the home, without parents or some hero there to support and champion and hold them accountable and give them support and ask, well, what do you need and how can I help? Far too often, I just don't hear that.
Yeah. Amelia, does that sound familiar to you?
Yes.
Did you have a hero or did somebody checked in on you? Or?
Well, I had like a second grade teacher who would try to help me, but after her, no.
Okay. And we had you. You were one of our stars of our documentary. We had a documentary a few years back called Voices and Faces, Literacy in San Diego, and the quote that strikes me is, books in the home. You're lucky we had furniture, man.
Yeah. Or food.
Or food, for that matter, right? So that's quite. We talk about you need the parental support and such and all that. Did you have people in your family also had similar experiences to yours?
Some of them did, but at least they had a mom that tried. And I don't know, maybe my mom was going through something. Maybe I know she was definitely an alcoholic. And I heard rumors later that she did other stuff, but she wasn't there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And food wasn't a priority. Luckily, we had neighbors that paid attention and helped me out when I was little.
She had people just making sure you were okay and such and all that.
Yeah, but they weren't family members.
They were family members. Yeah, right.
They weren't. They were neighbors, people who actually cared.
Yeah, yeah. So in your, you talked about going to prison and such. Where did things turn for you? Where like, hey, I don't have that. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't have the skills that I need to work or succeed in school, so I'm going to do other things.
Like criminal wise.
Yeah.
That actually happened when I was younger. When I used to hang out on the block, they would pay us to sit on the rooftop, and you would say something. We would just yell to let them know the cops are coming.
Okay, all right.
So, and this was on 40th Street, like in City Heights.
I know the area, yeah. So I grew up on 36 in Logan. So 40th is, actually when I was a kid, if it was a block away, it was too far. So it's like, I probably stayed away from 40th Street. So already I had like engaging in activities with folks
and they also taught me how to steal from Mervyn's at the Horn Plaza Mall, how to steal jeans. And people would never expect a kid would walk in there and steal that stuff.
So, golly, I mean, it's a phase you're going through. Did you think this was going to be your life?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
My goals in life back then was to be the biggest drug dealer in San Diego.
All right. And so you had aspirations. And at the same time, I know just how much of an advocate you are with your friends who, now that things have straightened out for you and you're going along the path you want to go on, and we're going to talk more about that, you've also talked to people in your circle about, hey, this is what you're doing is not the thing to do. And so have you convinced many people to go like back to school or get help?
A couple, but there's one I'm really working on right now, and she finally got a job, but she still doesn't believe in education.
Okay, so
And I think that's common because I never believed in education.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, it didn't happen for me, and I'm doing these other things. And again, don't let me put words in your mouth, but you found the pathway through, and we're really excited about that. And you're a pretty tough person, Amelia. So I was thinking, man, if I was like not doing good and I needed to learn to read and write better, and I was your friend, I wouldn't want to have to deal with you because I'm guessing you're probably pretty strong with them. Is that accurate?
Somewhat, yeah.
All right.
I don't like to push people too much because I know when I was growing up, I did what I want, and I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Although now I wish I would have listened. I would have saved myself so many problems.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, we'll come back to some of that, but I also want to emphasize, what's happening now. We have a minute before break, but you're close to getting your high school diploma?
I already got it.
So you earned your high school diploma, all right?
Yes.
And so when you got to your literacy program, which was your first literacy program that you went to?
Reed San Diego.
Was it Reed San Diego? Okay.
Yes.
You were reading, Val? I mean, you're probably not allowed to say, but maybe Amelia, how high?
I will leave that to Amelia to say.
I don't know if Val was there. This used to, when I first joined, it was by San Diego State at the library.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I tried it out, and it was difficult because I was working graveyard, and then I was in the process of moving back to Arizona. So I did it for like 2 months, and then I dropped out again.
And what was your reading level? Do you remember coming in?
Not at Reed San Diego, but when I started at the continuing ed, I was at a third grade level.
Third grade level, okay. And that tends to be where we find a lot of folks, and so they're starting from there. That's where the wall is, as we understand it, third to fourth and such. So we're glad you are where you are. We're glad you're here in our studio with us, and glad to have Val Hardy. And we're going to come back with more information and just things that people want to know about. This is a real thing. Anyway, you're all listening to the Literacy for All radio show. I'm Jose Cruz. We're on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com. Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. With us today is Val Hardy from Read San Diego. She's the Literacy Program Administrator. And Amelia, I want to call you Emily. I know you get called Emily. Amelia Sandoval, and she's a literacy student who started off reading at about a 3rd grade level when she went to Read San Diego, and she just got her high school diploma. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, what a story. Mm-hmm. And so they say there, from whatever dark place, there is a pathway to the light. And you've had quite a journey.
Yes, definitely.
All right. And I know you've had people to support you. Val's been in your life, and then Marie Dorner is a real advocate.
She's a big part of my life.
Isn't she amazing?
Yes.
And so I think I'm confident that I'm going to touch on a topic that I think is near and dear to the both of you and to Marie. And it's something, we just have to face as a society, that sometimes we don't have expectations of women in education or in positions of power. Val, how does that resonate with you? You're running one of the best literacy programs in the country,
well, I certainly have heard it from adult learners who walk through the door who husbands didn't want them to go to school, or parents didn't care one way or another if they went to school. Parents who pushed boys to go to school, but not the girls to go to school. And I've seen what a difference it makes to have high expectations of people. When you have high expectations, students often reach that expectation and beyond. Mm-hmm. So it's really critical to provide the challenge that folks need, and also high expectations, knowing that, yes, you can do this, and provide direction and support to do it.
Yeah, sometimes we're too nice, and I think having those expectations is exactly, I think, what people need. That they may think, well, I can't do it, or I don't have goal setting is something we teach, and it's like, hey, you can do this. Mm-hmm. You're not going to do it in one day.
And it's often a two-way street. Mm-hmm. One has to have one has to have expectations of yourself, and others need to have high expectations of you. So I think it's great when those two things are working in tandem.
Very good, very good. Amelia, that touch you at all? I mean, did you feel like because you were female that people didn't expect you or even want you to learn to read or to have a career?
Yeah, in a sense, yes, but since nobody was around to expect anything.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But you've also been right there. I mean, I saw you. You were in Washington, D.C., and you were making visits to congressmen' offices and with Marie and other people, and imposing yourself, which is what we need you to do. And what were you doing there, and how did you feel about doing it?
We were talking about education and the lack of education, and how the teachers aren't getting the help they need to provide stuff for us in the classroom.
Yeah.
So that's what we were talking about, and about the poverty level and about the housing.
Very good. So how did you feel doing this?
It felt good.
All right. Yeah, Washington, D.C. is a beautiful place, isn't
it?
Yeah. So, maybe we need to come back with a show on women empowerment and such, because I know that was, maybe bring Marie back, because this is a passion for her, but being an advocate for a segment of our population that we tend to, well, put it this way, we need everybody. We need everybody to read and write and contribute to quality of life in our community. And it just helps when people have confidence and feel good about themselves.
Yes.
So, have you done anything like that, Amelia, or have you gone out and talked to other people who maybe have a past similar to yours?
I asked my friends' kids if they can read and write,
Mhm.
but I try to do it like gently, not just come out and be like, "Hey, can you read and write?" Because I know that if I was asked like that, I'd be like, "Yes," and lying straight to my teeth.
Yeah.
So I'll try to talk to the young kids and bring a book with me or a comic book because I'm really big into comics.
Very good. Val, what do you think about comic books and literacy?
Whatever hooks people. Whatever hooks people.
Very good.
I
Very
grew
good.
up reading comic
Me
books,
too.
and it's a springboard to other things as
Yeah.
well. And, comic books are engaging. The graphics, the dialogue, the illustrations, they're engaging.
Yep, very good. And here we are in the city of Comic-Con. And I know that has meant a lot to you because Amelia, you're a real comic book fan, like big time.
Yes, I really enjoyed it, and it's fun. I think, like, when I first started looking... Here, I need to take a moment.
Okay, I got it.
Before I could read,
Yeah.
I would look at the comic book pages,
Mhm.
and I would stare at them and make up a story along with it.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like that really helped me because I always wanted to know what the words were on that paper.
Yeah. So that was a motivation.
Yes.
I look at what happened with the Harry Potter thing. Now, those are big books. I haven't read a single Harry Potter book. And if you can't read or you have trouble reading, you're probably not going to get through the first Harry Potter book.
That is challenging. That
Right?
book. Yes.
Yes.
Even for me now.
Uh-huh.
Because it's words you never heard of and never saw. But I definitely recommend the first book to any first-time learner.
Very good. And here's the thing. So even though it's a big book, it was still a motivator for people, right? I want to read that book someday. I mean, I remember my brother, I was 3 or 4 years old. My brother brought home a copy of Green Eggs and Ham. And I was like, I want to read that book. I didn't know the letter A, but I wanted to read that book. And one day I did. So there was a goal, right? And having expectations and all. Yeah. So comic books being one of those things. And then, other things that you want to do that you can't, but you have a heart for. So, Val, you guys, going back to technology, you have a really nice computer lab there. You're creating access for people, some folks who are homeless, to the technology and the opportunity to use tools that we use to function in today's world. So
it's not just us; it's in most libraries, most public libraries in California.
All right.
But our computer lab certainly gives access to desktop computers and mobile devices, and classes that teach students not just that your phone is here to make a phone call, but there are these wonderful apps that you can learn from as well too.
Very good. So there's still, and I was surprised to hear this because we had David Rosen on the show, who's a literacy advocate, and we still have an issue with the digital divide. That there are still people out there who don't have access to computers, and right. So we created a world where there's more opportunity to not have. The good thing is about 85% of low-income individuals or even homeless have a smartphone. So it doesn't mean they're not spending their money wisely. It means that we have put them in a situation where they have to have that. So more things are happening with apps and all that. Was that a hard transition for you, Amelia?
Going into computers?
Yeah, computer and then smartphones and all that, or is that a natural for you?
No, I was scared I didn't get a smartphone until I think 2006. I was late to the party, definitely.
Okay.
And I didn't get a laptop until I would say like 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So how much time do you spend on these a day now?
Too much.
More than television?
Yeah, when I first started, I didn't even know how to power it on. And now I can open them up and do all the hardware on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we used to think, if I touch this button, I'm going to blow it up. I remember, right. Let's do this right here, like really pictures of what to do. Here's how you turn it on. There's a picture and all that. And so we're way beyond that. We have a couple of minutes till break. Let me ask Val, and then we're going to come back to you, Amelia. How has being at Reed San Diego affected your life? Because this has been your career, and we hope you never retire, but there's all good things come to an end.
So the question is,
how's that affected your life? How do you just being in a position to do what you're doing?
There's no greater aspiration than to serve in this way. What's amazing is that I get to interact with so many different people, folks who would never, ever, meet each other were it not for the adult literacy program. People who wouldn't come to a library, but they were called by wanting to teach an adult to read, or adult learners that never, envisioned themselves being in a library getting help with reading and writing skills. So we see people from judges to attorneys, to homemakers, to just everyday folk who are appalled by the statistic and have decided to do something about it, and adults who have walked around with a lot of shame and embarrassment, and something hurtful happened, some last straw that got them in the door, and we put these folks together and we just see these miracles happen with the right training and support.
You're attracting a lot of good people, a lot of brave people, a lot of folks who are looking for ways to make a difference. So I hear you. I mean, that's quite a testimony, Val, that at literacy, folks are coming together because they want help, they can help, and it's such a powerful thing. You look at, what can I do to make a difference? Well, I can help a person get the skills that they need to make their dreams come true.
Right. Because I recognize that the skill is absolutely critical, but it's not an end; it's a means to what people want to do at home and at work and in so many facets of their lives.
Very good. Well, we'll be back with Val Hardy and Amelia Sandoval. This is Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/express funding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Life is full of misadventures, from car crashes to home fires to getting choked out on the mat. Yes, I said getting choked out because I'm Carlos Kramer, jiu-jitsu competitor, MMA and media personality, and mild-mannered insurance agent. You can follow my adventures on Kick-Ass Radio, and I can protect you from life's misadventures at Kramer Insurance. Home, auto, life, business, and workers' comp. We're at KramerINS.com, and I want you to join my world.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Too much to do? Not enough time to get it done? Call on the experts at Another 8 Hours for your business support needs. By partnering with Another 8 Hours, we allow you to focus on the more important matters, like being in front of your clients, doing what you do best, rather than being stuck at a desk poring over paperwork, rummaging through emails, returning phone calls, and struggling to get everything done by yourself. Meanwhile, your family and social life are going down the drain. Go to another8hours.com or call 8 more hours. That's 866-734-6877.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive,
in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Hello, I'm Jose Cruz, and we're here with Val Hardy, the Literacy Program Administrator for the San Diego Public Library's Read San Diego program, and Amelia Sandoval, who is a literacy student who just got her high school diploma. Val, just an old topic, but I think it's still relevant because people look to California and they look at what the libraries in California have done to promote literacy. And at one time that was an issue. It's like, okay, schools teach reading, colleges might teach reading or teach people how to teach reading, but libraries doing literacy programs, how has that become a thing now? Because we don't raise our eyebrows that much. It's one place people know where to get help with reading, especially adults.
Well, back in the 80s, there was a visionary state librarian, Gary Strong, who saw that if folks can't read, they can't access the resources of the library.
Mm-hmm.
And he, along with other folks, advocated for funding so that libraries public libraries throughout California could provide literacy services to adults who otherwise couldn't access the full range of resources. So in California, the goal is not to be in conflict or in competition with adult schools or other providers. The mission of the state library literacy programs is to go after those adults who aren't being served, and typically they are low literate English speaking adults
Mm-hmm.
who are reading and writing below the eighth grade level. So the state looks at those adults in terms of being hardest to reach and hardest to teach. These are folks who may go to the adult schools. They've lived here all their lives. They still struggle with reading and writing. They may see students of multiple languages, and they don't see themselves fitting there because they've graduated in many cases and still struggle with reading, or they dropped out because they felt that staying in school was a joke.
Well, I'm glad that the message has gotten across. Amelia, how did you know where to go for help?
Somebody told me that the library would help.
Okay.
Like when I was at school at, I think it was North City before they rebuilt it. Yeah, they told me to check out the library, Read San Diego.
So did you go to the Market Street location?
Yes.
Okay, real good. And when you showed up there, who did you see? What did it feel like? Was it easy for you? Did you feel like, this is not, I'm not sure I want to do this?
Yeah, I definitely felt that I didn't want to go in, that I didn't want to do it. I didn't think I could accomplish it. I didn't think that I would benefit at all from it.
And how did you know that things were turning around for you? Do you remember your first tutor?
Barely.
Okay.
But I remember Mariko.
Okay.
She's my long-lasting tutor.
Okay. And was she one of your tutors out? Okay. And tell me about your working relationship with Mariko.
When it first started, it was difficult.
Difficult for her or difficult for you?
Probably both. I probably made it really difficult.
Okay.
But luckily, she was patient.
Okay.
Because when she would tell me stuff, it didn't make sense. And she would tell me, it'll make sense later. It'll make sense later. And I felt like, all right, I'm just going to give it a try.
Yeah, very good. And Val, I mean, that's some everybody goes through training. I know all your volunteers go through training and such. But sometimes you have folks Because what Amelia just said, I hadn't thought about. It's one of the things you teach in tutor training. Hey, you're going to get this, maybe not right now. So you have some very special people walking in the door who want to help out. Some who they have teaching in their blood, and others they learn to become teachers. Tell me about your tutors, just in general.
They are folks who make a commitment to go through training and make at least a 6-month to a year commitment. And many stay longer than a year because they discover their niche.
Mm-hmm.
They love the variety. They love the experience of, assisting someone in reaching their goals and in experiencing that, seeing their student have that aha moment. That's a priceless gift, to both people, really.
Let's talk about that aha moment. Amelia, when did you know that, hey, this is going in the right direction?
I was able to put the words together, sound them out.
Okay, all right. That's really a special thing. So, tell me more about that. Can you remember, an incident or just a particular letter or a word?
I know I was frustrating her, so she would try to break down the word education, and I'd be like, I don't get it. Or Nintendo, that one, because I'm all about the video games, and I couldn't spell Nintendo and I couldn't read it, but now I can do both.
Okay, very good. And those two important words, I think. Nintendo is an important word, and education, important word. So, and I think that's quite often, at least in my experience, it was like, hey, I was able to put the letters together, I made the words, and that's a start. And leads on to other things.
And Jose, I would say that Amelia is an example of the kind of learner that library literacy programs are going after, that are attracted by library literacy programs. Library literacy programs and also Career Online High School, which many public libraries in California now offer, an opportunity for adults to get their high school diploma. So library literacy programs are there for those people who are not quite at that stage, as well as those who need to get their high school diploma. If folks could have finished school, they would have, but in many cases there's some form of trauma that got in the way of them completing their high school diploma or completing school. And libraries are a safe place for folks to come back and work on those basic skills as well as obtain their high school diploma.
What I love about what Gary Strong did and the State Library did with the California Literacy Campaign, the work that you're doing, is that what that did was gave an opportunity for people who get left behind and stay left behind. And so, we hear students say, I didn't know there was a program like this, because nobody's going to stop and wait for me. But Read San Diego does, and the libraries do. And it's such a touching thing to the learners. It's like, I can't go back to school. It's too late. I'm too old.
Right.
And no, it's not too late, and you're not too old. And there's not just hope. There's a lot of examples of people who have overcome. So thank you for your work, Val.
Sure thing.
You bet. And Amelia, I did have a question for you. If you had advice for somebody who needed help and hadn't asked for help yet, what would you tell them?
Just to go ahead and make that call. But first of all, the problem is if you can't read, how are you going to know the help is out there? Mm-hmm. So I would suggest for people that can read to reach out to other people and let them know and encourage them and be supportive.
Very good. So talk it out and tell people what you do, and
yes,
and have you had examples where you talked about your story and someone said, I have trouble too, where can I go for help?
Not necessarily that, but I had a counselor that grew up with a similar background. Luckily, she could read and write because she became a counselor, but she also encouraged me a lot with getting the high school diploma and continuing on with Read, because at one point, 2 months in, I wanted to drop out again from San Diego Read. Yeah. But she encouraged me to stick with it. And I think that's the problem is people are growing up without somebody who's there to help them, to tell them.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have to help each other, and that help is out there. Val, we just have a few seconds. Tell us how we can volunteer for Read San Diego, or if we need help with reading. Where do we go?
You go to readsandiego.org or call the public library or Call us at 619-238-6603. Call us, email us. We're there.
Very good. Very
get
good.
people started.
So glad to have Val Hardy on our show. Amelia Sandoval, love to have you both back again. And to get an update on what you've done with that high school diploma. Okay, congratulations. Thank you all for being on the show. Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Your personal life is just the same. Just like you protect our country, you want your family protected. That's why thousands of military members trust Navy Mutual Life Insurance. Navy Mutual is nonprofit, providing current and former Navy, Marine, and Coast Guard families with life insurance, no sales fees, and no military service restrictions. Protecting members on active duty and beyond. Call 1-800-628-6011, 800-628-6011, NavyMutual.org, insuring those who serve.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.